race one of two this weekend at Road America. Thank you for joining us wherever you are in the world. Live in sound and vision. Big jump out of line there on the second or third row of the grid. That will have caught Shea Adams' attention. Ryan Yardley for top racing performance, I think it was. He may well get a penalty for that. We've seen it before as, oh my goodness, already problem at the first corner from the middle of the field. Efren Castro, fourth place in Pro-Am as they came to the line, has gone off into the gravel at turn one. The question will be, can he pull himself out of there with the weight over the rear wheels in this car? There's a possibility if he doesn't use too much throttle. We're not quite as well dug in with the Yokohamas at the back as I've seen before. The battle for the lead could be more important if the yellow flag comes out now down towards turn 5, and there's a turnaround there as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars into the gravel. This has been an untidy first lap, and this surely now will bring out the safety car, that white Carrera that we saw at the beginning. Shea Adam, not how we wanted to see this one start.
No. So for starters, Speedy Dan Clark was the one who moved across before the start-finish line. That is a serious no-no. That should be a drive-through penalty. Let's take another look at it going down into turn 1 because Efren Castro winding up backwards in the gravel. Efren had qualified really well. Ooh, he might have gotten a push, and then contact trying to come through the field, got into the front of Jake Pedersen, then going through turn 5. There was a bit of a dive bomb. It looked at first as though Michael Cooper took out Zach Vignier on his own, but now with another look at it, I think Michael actually got some assistance from a car behind. Yes, he did. He was unable to stop because the number 77 of Colin Kaminsky was pushing him along through turn 5. There was also damage to the front of Elias De La Torre's Porsche, so that was a lot of people who were very well placed in the championship as we are still green coming to the start-finish line. Now the question remains, did Efren Castro manage to get out of the gravel? Did Michael Cooper manage to get out of the gravel? And these are drivers that we are used to talking about because they are championship contenders.
I did think I saw the black and yellow car jump out to the left. It might have been because somebody checked up in front of him, so he might actually get away with that. One of the things that race control will be looking at with that number 78 car, it's a really distinctive car, is if he was trying to avoid an incident. And if he was trying to avoid an incident, well, then they will look far more leniently on being out of line at the start. We've had just on 6 minutes of the 40, no pit stops. It's a race to the end, side-by-side action coming down into Canada corner. Now, watch the 64, the green car, and then look. Oh, yeah. What do you reckon, Shea? I reckon Ryan
Yardley
jumped
will
out
get
the line.
away with that. Yardley will get away with that because while he jumped out of line, he didn't change lanes. He didn't swap to a different side. And the reason that he jumped out of line was because Dan Clark did not accelerate. So I wonder if maybe something happened to Dan Clark's Porsche off the green flag, and that's what resulted in him slowing down. But then that move across the lane into the other side, that will be judged by race control.
The start is going to be reviewed after the race, and I suspect...
Ooh.
Yeah, that was all down at turn 5, but there was help for the Ruckus Racing car. Was that Matt Holcomb that was in there?
No, it was Kenton King who was involved there, John.
King. And the second incident was down at turn 3 for the number 13 of Todd Parriott. But again, he's managed to get going. I will finish this thought about provisional. The extremely provisional results. Start will be reviewed as we've got a full course caution down. Now I get the chance to describe it. It's going to be reviewed after the race. I suspect that is because race control want to have a look at some onboard footage, which all the cars carry onboard recorders, and I think they'll want to do that, Shea, to decide why and if some of the people jumped. So Dan Clark on the outside of the front row, he's still in line. So Dan Clark's fine. Was he?
Nope.
Was he?
No. I don't think race control is going to
Tight.
view that very leniently. Yes, it was tight, but he had made the intent. He had already started pointing his car toward the other lane. And race control is very clear about you needing to hold your position until after the start-finish line. So that will be adjudicated post-race for sure, but it doesn't look very promising, at least from the overhead shot. And they tend to view the overhead shot a lot better than they do the onboard shot. At least that's how they have viewed it in the recent past. Kenton King is out of his car, the number 74, at turn 5. The good news is it looked like there wasn't too much damage to that car, so hopefully the crew from MDK will be able to repair it. Excuse me, not MDK, it's Era Motorsport now. They will be able to repair it and get it back out for race number 2 tomorrow. Mike, safety car checked out, John.
Yeah, the GTS has left the GT3s in its dust. And Loek Hartog is just waiting. Goes now as he turns into the final corner with 12 minutes and 46 seconds on the clock. The incident involving the last 2 cars, Kenton King and that number 45 machine of Scott Blind, will be reviewed post-session, as well as we go back to racing across the line. What a restart! What a restart from the leader, and everybody else is scrapping for second down the inside. Here comes Ryan Yardley, and he's got it, but he's lost it. And he's lost second, and he's lost third, and he's lost fourth, and he's lost fifth. As he drops way back, and behind them another 2 cars went off their share.
That was Sabre Cook in one of them, and she did manage to recover. I think it was Colin Kaminsky who went with her wide through turn 1. Both of those cars continuing on the circuit, though. They too lost a bunch of positions, so that was a very entertaining restart for us, as Alex Sedgwick now is P2. Jimmy Lieber trying to defend from Dan Clark, trying to make up the positions from the start, as Elias De La Torre is now following down. Ryan Yardley is in P6, then Dan Clark. Wow, what a mix-up we had on that restart.
As well, that is the number 82, Madeline Stewart, who's made up a couple of positions. What a restart from Loek Hartog. All the action behind. Loek Hartog sends it from a different postal district and goes so far off he had to show his pass to get back in again. Oh, Sabre Cook is not going to be happy about that, because she was pushed off the track by Colin Kaminsky on the inside of the top racing car. He ushered her off. She couldn't turn in without an accident, and she's not going to be happy with that, because she had been sitting in 6th position before that incident. She's got back up to 7th as it stands. Number 14 around the outside is James Sofranas, GMG Racing Cars. He goes up the outside of Moise Oretsky, and they touch on the final corner, and Oretsky's going to go grass tracking and into the dirt. He spun it, but he's got out of the gravel. He'll continue. 10 minutes to go, and it's all gone crazy.
But now Richard Edge has the championship leader, Matt Halcomb, behind him. That is the Scooby-Doo car. Let's take maybe a little bit of a breath there, guys, as we are getting a little bit antsy with under 10 minutes to go in this race. Moise Uretsky trying to go around the outside of James Sofronis into turn 14. It actually opened the door for a slew of other cars, and I think it cost Sofronis some positions too. This will be race number 9 of the season, and a big off for Jake Peterson and Alan Metney. That could end this one under caution, which would be even more detrimental for Colin Kaminsky with the 10-second penalty.
And he has driven away once again. It's going to be 5 seconds or thereabouts, and he comes through to take the first race of 2 this weekend and puts in the fastest lap of the race on the final 4-mile tour. They still have not hit the loud pedal. This is a long run by the pole sitter. He's really relying on everybody else playing well together, and they do. And now Hartog leaps away and heads down to the first corner. He's hugging the right-hand side, trying to make anybody make a move round the outside of him. Ryan Yardley had a look down the inside. Dan Clark goes to second from 4th on the grid. Did he just about hold on to the track? I think he did, as did the leader. Here comes Dan Clark around the outside of turn number 3. He's got his nose in front. Clark leads by about 4 or 5 inches. They're side by side under the Sargento Cheese Bridge. And these 2 cars are still battling out. In 3rd place, it's Jimmy Libra, and he's got a company as well. That's the number 9 of Zach Vanier, who's made a great run down into turn 5 for the first time. Clark converts into the lead as we have a car in the dirt. It's Geordie Miller, the number 10 machine. And that car, I don't think is getting out of there. I'm just looking at the Yokohama tyres on the back of that car. They look to be dug in. Oh, and the lead's changed again whilst I was slightly... my attention was taken. So what? Full course yellow. Now that's key, Shea. When did Luke Hartog get that lead back again? Green flag, and our leader, Luke Hartog, already got his foot down. And as they cross the line, it's 33 and 34 seconds to go. So we call it 33-33 for the sake of symmetry. And another good start or restart from the Kenny Moss driver, Luke Hartog. Dan Clark losing a position into turn 1, gives Zach Vanier a bit of room on the outside in that number 9, the silver, white and black car. That was very fair driving from both. Jimmy Lieber's in the red, white and blue car in 4th position. But Hartog again, Shea, lit the afterburners there. I think he actually got a better restart than even he did at the drop of the original green flag. Luke Hartog at the front of the field is well away from the battling that's going on behind Alex Sedgwick in the red, white, black roof. Number 98 just off the circuit. It's turn number 7 as he battles with Ryan Yardley and Colin Kaminsky. In fact, he's lost a place, I think, there. As Ryan Yardley now up ahead of the number 4, Elias de la Torre, in fact. So that is change around.
And only warnings right now, but for 2 cars toward the front of the grid, one of them being Elias de la Torre, who does have his hood flapping just that tiny little bit, and the second, our leader, Luke Hartog, in the number 24 for Kelly Moss, and a blocking penalty being issued for Ryan Yardley, car number 78. It's a warning right now as Jordan Wallace goes off the track at turn 14 into the gravel. Can he keep his foot down and get it out? Well, the smoke continues. He's almost there.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes. Well done, Jordan. Rear engine car, of course, the Porsche 911, and with the weight over those rear Yokohamas, just managed to find enough purchase. Number 23 car, in fact, actually just a bit of push, bit of understeer there. Jordan managed to keep enough forward momentum and get down through the gearbox. Right, down to turn 5. Battle for 7th, Michael McCann in the Kelly Moss red, white and black car, with the blue car in behind of Colin Kaminsky, and Sabra Cook is right there as well, and Sabra gets a great run through turn 6. Kaminsky started to attack, but such is the competition here, always weaving from side to side there. Don't think race control will like that. You're attacking one moment, but if your attack is repelled, a bit like Olympic fencing, you leave yourself open to an attack from elsewhere. Hartog has not eased his pace at all. Pulled out 6 seconds now on Zach Vanier, who's still being pushed along by Dan Clark. But the intriguing battle here, Shea, with 15 minutes to go, is just outside the top 10, and it's the battle for the Pro-Am podium.
As we see James Safronis still leading the way, but Moise Uretsky with the bright pink and purple Baby Bull Racing number 44 is harder to see now because he is so close to Safronis that depending on the camera angle, I can't even see it in the booth occasionally because Moise is learning and learning quick. Pedro Torres, yesterday's race winner, is in 3rd. And then Yves Baltus in a different category but still racing for the track position is the next car in shot as Alan Metney, way deep in turn 5, does not get to the gravel and does manage to continue, but a little bit of a rough ride there for Alan.
Not spoken about our leader Luke Hartog for a while. That's because nobody's seen him since the last green flag dropped. He's disappeared 7.5 seconds into the distance. How far away is he? Well, he's well over half the distance between turn 3 and turn 5. That's how far he is back away from the chasers behind him.
Now, Chris Palomo does not have to fight very, very hard against Marco Cironi behind him as Sabra Cook has come into the pit lane. I'm going to keep an eye on that and see what's happened to her because she was having a good run up in the 9th position as Kenton Cook goes for a spin in turn 14. Well, we've got less than 5 minutes to go, but that doesn't mean it's calming down at all. this could be win number 5 for Loek. We've never had a season with this many winners, and with Loek to come back, and particularly this weekend where we've now come beyond the midway point of the championship, this is a firm stamp of authority and dominance on this championship.
It's over 10 seconds here in 40 minutes. 40 minutes
with
is
the
elapsed,
safety car,
by the way. Oh, yeah, yes, good point. With the safety car that got everybody back up, that took, what, did he have 4 or 5 seconds when that happened? I know it was quite early on. It's impressive. Meantime, the battle in Pro-Am has seemingly swung the way of James Sofronas in the number 14 GMG. Masters class has come closer together with Chris Palomo and Matt Holcomb now just a second apart with no cars between them. But for the 5th time in 2024, seeing the checkered flag first will be Loek Hartog for Kelly Moss Racing. The 24 is victorious again. A long battle and an entertaining one too, just outside the top 10 for James Sofronas, with first of all Moise Uretsky and then Pedro Torres on the GMG driver's back bumper. They're still scrapping for 2nd and 3rd, but it will be the number 14 that takes the Pro-Am category as he climbs the hill, and it'll be a 13th position. Pedro holds on to 2nd, Moise 3rd, Efren Castro will come through in 4th, with Marco Cironi 5th. Then the 2 Masters drivers, Chris Palomo and Matt Holcomb, coming to the line. Oh, it was close at the line, under a second, but Chris Palomo hangs on ahead of Matt Holcomb, with Scott Blind from Ruckus Racing trying to get back to Richard Edge. It's Richard Edge who will take 3rd on the Masters podium. Scott Blind gets the fastest lap in Masters. Fastest lap overall for Loek Hartog. 2 poles, 2 wins and a fastest lap. That's pretty impressive for Loek Hartog, who tours back round the 4 miles. Shea Adams doing some quick arithmetic as we can take a look at the unofficial results. There were some changes after the first round yesterday after post-race scrutineering. Hartog, Vanier and Clark, your top 3. Ryan Yardley, Jimmy Libra, Alex Sedgwick, Michael McCann, Colin Kaminsky, Elias De La Torre, and Michael Cooper getting into the top 10 after a late race problem for Sabra Cook. Madeleine Stewart just outside the top 10 ahead of Eve Baltas. Then that great battle for Pro-Am, Sofronas, Torres and Uretsky, 13, 14, 15, with Castro, Efren Castro and Marco Cironi in supporting roles. Chris Palomo and Matt Holcomb finished just under a second apart in 18th and 19th in the Masters category, with Richard Edge holding on to the 3rd spot on the Masters podium, just ahead of Scott Blind, who put in the fastest lap of the Masters race on the last lap, and it'll be Scott in 4th then, and John Getz in 5th position. Shea Adam has done the arithmetic. Loek Hartog, I can tell you, has increased his lead at the top of the championship, but you can tell me why exactly how much.
Hey, you took the easy part there. It is 196 points for Loek Hartog, very unofficially by my math. At the end of this race, Alex Sedgwick is still in 2nd on 149, and into 3rd after the weekend with 135 is Ryan Yardley, but Canadian Zach Vanier, great effort this weekend, pulls himself up to 4th on 131. In the Pro-Am class, we have a serious battle on our hands. Marco Cironi, 156 points. Moise Uretsky, 154. Efren Castro in 3rd, 147. So that is going to be a really fun one to watch. And in Masters, Chris Palomo really doing everything he can this weekend by 2 races, 2 wins, 2 pole positions. But it's still Matt Halcomb with the advantage, 212 points to 161 for Palomo.